and welcome to Buzz TV. I'm your host, Adrienne Houghton, and we have got an exciting show for you today. There's everything from restaurants and charities and galleries and something for everyone, really family favorites. So watch this space and find out more on Buzz TV.
Welcome back to Buzzworthy Business. I'm Steve Strum. This morning we have Chris Campione from Campione Law and Chris Carvajal from South Edge Construction. But today we're here to talk about the Real Men Wear Pink. So, Chris, right?
Morning,
exactly.
Steve.
Chris and Chris. Chris, tell us a little bit about why you're here.
Yeah, my name's Chris Carvajal. I'm the owner of South Edge Construction. We do roofing here in Jacksonville, Florida, and we learned about the 2021 Real Men Wear Pink campaign from my good buddy Chris Campione, the co-chairman. It's a program to raise money for the American Cancer Society and bring awareness to all the people that are affected from breast cancer, not just the clients, the patients, everybody associated with it.
So we have known each other for a little bit.
Yes, we have.
We've known each other for a little bit less. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that all three of us have a tie to is this Real Men Wear Pink campaign. And so you're the chairperson this year. Tell us a little bit about what the Real Men Wear Pink is, for those that don't know, kind of what happened last year and what you guys are trying to do to make sure research stays stabilized. And both of you guys are local business owners, just trying to help out.
Absolutely. Our firm, it's very important to our firm to give back to the community in ways we can. And this is one of the ways that I think has one of the biggest impacts. And I appreciate, Steve, you participating in, I think, the 2018 campaign.
I think so.
Since 2016, since the inception in Jacksonville, the Real Men Wear Pink campaign has raised over $500,000 for the American Cancer Society. We're actually an offshoot of the American Cancer Society. And what we do is every year, the group gets together, nominates approximately 30 to 40 men that go out in the community and try to raise money for breast cancer research. And beyond breast cancer research, we're also, the American Cancer Society also provides transportation to treatments and other vital things for cancer patients that, help them along the way to their recovery, and also, finding new ways to hopefully cure this disease in the long run.
So one of the things that was very important for me when that happened was obviously personal ties to breast cancer, but also when people raise money, there's always the, give me money, right? I mean, which of course that's part of donations. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I found interesting when I was asked to do the Real Men Wear Pink campaign was really innovative ways to have fun, but then also to be able to raise dollars to people, to organizations that it's like, okay, I can get it quicker so that we can meet our goals faster. And now you almost got to double up, right? Because last year was tough, right?
Yes. So, last year was very tough. With the corona pandemic, for whatever reason, I think people were a little bit more focused on that than other things that they would normally be doing in their lives. The donations and the funding simply for the American Cancer Society were way down. So this year we're trying to, really do shows like yours to be able to bring attention back to it and hopefully to raise the money to make up for the shortfall last year, because the research being done is absolutely vital.
Right, and breast cancer is not just for October for those that have it, and of course that doesn't, take time off for a pandemic.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the fun things that you guys have coming up? I know you guys have a golf tournament.
Yeah, so we got a few things coming up. The biggest thing we have coming up is on October 15th, we've got a golf tournament out at Deer Creek. Okay. So if you go to the American Cancer Society /Real Men Wear Pink website, you'll be able to purchase a foursome, sponsor a hole, potentially become one of the title tournament sponsors. We've got a lot of fun things going on at the tournament. I think we're going to have some PGA players there, have some Jacksonville Jaguars cheerleaders, have some great giveaways, silent auction items, and things of that nature.
Wow, that's fantastic. And so one of the things that I loved was that when we did those events, right, pre-pandemic, is a way for us to get together, collaborate, raise money, but then have fun.
Absolutely.
So are there any other items out there, a couple things that I think would be really neat that I'd be more than happy to help if I can. Mm-hmm. We had this really neat happy hour, silent auction-ish thing Any plans for that? And if not, let me help you out with that one, because I'd be more than happy to. Can I be a Real Men Wear Pinkish? I know I've already served I've served my time, but how can people that have been previously engaged with this, or people that want to get engaged, in all sincerity, how can they find out more?
Absolutely. So I think what you were mentioning is Drinks for a Cause, which we're doing October 16th at the Embassy Suites on Bay Meadows. It's a great event where all the men come out. They serve drinks. They all have their individual bars. Support your men out there. Go to that event. Have some drinks. Donate via tip to the men that are out there.
Right, because all of that money went to
absolutely
the organization.
100% of that money goes to the organization. Now, if you want to learn more about the organization, there's a Facebook page for Real Men Wear Pink of Northeast Florida. We also have a website that's linked to that. We'll post a link here later. But if you follow those pages, you're going to be able to find all the events that we're putting on this year. But the big one is the golf tournament coming up. So, I hope those, that want to give but also want to have a little bit of fun with us, come on out to that golf tournament.
You going to have that trick shot guy again?
Absolutely.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Absolutely.
The guy hit a golf ball like a baseball. I was like, how did it, and it went backwards somehow. Okay, and then, of course, I'm sure on y'all's websites you're going to have linked out. What's the best way to reach out to your website for the firm so they can see what you're up to and what you're doing in the community?
Absolutely. Best thing you can do is go to campionlawpa.com. We've got everything up on our website, and you could also, send me an email as well. My email address is on that website.
And then the other Chris?
Yep. On our social media page, which is at South Edge 904, we'll have a link to where you could donate, and as well as videos that we'll be posting for the next 2 months to make sure I can reach my goal. Visit our site, South Edge Construction. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'd say, go to the American Cancer Society's website for Real Men Wear Pink. You'll see great guys like Chris who are participating this year. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys knew a few people on there. So, go on there, check it out, see who's doing it this year, and, please give where you can.
So, local business owners, golf tournaments, happy hours, all kinds of fun stuff, all for a great cause.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Absolutely.
And thanks for coming back on.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hey, it's a special one for me. Please consider participating and contributing to the Real Men Wear Pink. It is not just October for people with breast cancer. Thank you for joining us on Buzzworthy Business. If you like us, share us. Remember, live with gratitude.
Welcome back to another episode of On a Mission. I'm your host, Dr. Wendy Norfleet with Norfleet Integrated Solutions, and it is my pleasure to have with me Carlika Vance Knight Menendez with Inside Out. Welcome, Carlika.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, of course, we actually met through LinkedIn.
Yes.
I've met a lot of people through LinkedIn over this last year and a half.
I love LinkedIn.
Yes. But I'm so glad you're on the show, and I want to know a little bit more about your company. Obviously, in the process of getting to know you, I've learned, but I want you to share with everyone else.
Yes. So Inside Out, that is my baby. And it came from a time where I was dealing with the eating disorder as a Black female, which the stigma against that was like, you know what, we don't do that. And I'm like, we do that. I was one of those young girls who would make myself throw up in different things. And so Inside Out is just women's wellness, supporting women through those transitional moments in their life to say, hey, you're empowered, you're equipped. We're here to encourage you so that you can go on to that next level in your life.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And you're right. A lot of times people think of African American because they're a little more curvaceous and things, and they don't think about them having a disorder. But I do know I've met a few people along my lifetime who were really thin, who felt that for whatever reason they had to stay that size, and they would make themselves sick staying that size.
Yes, that was me. I mean, I was like 80 pounds. And so the size I am now, I'm like, this is that menopause weight going on. So, but it's something that's not talked about a lot, especially in the African-American community, where we're more sometimes on the obese side and we focus on those things, but it's like they're triggers. And I was just on the opposite end, weighing myself 10, 20 times a day. If I bent over, I'm like, oh my God, I'm fat. And so in my mind, I couldn't get skinny enough.
Wow. So
Yeah.
does your company, do you work with women to coach them over these hurdles? Do you provide like educational services? What do you do?
Typically, I typically share my story because you run across some even older than me, and they're still like going through it, like they're still in the struggle of it, and I'm just like, wow, you're still struggling with your weight or just accepting.
That it is what it is, right?
Right. And so I'm like, wow, like you're in another phase of your life, but a lot of them are stuck right there. And that can be with anything, whether it's in their business, as a new entrepreneur, whether that's with the eating disorder, or even I've pivoted more so into menopause now because once again, African-American women, we're highly underrepresented.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's true. It's not a whole lot of resources specifically geared toward African Americans.
No. And especially not even in menopause. We're not even having a conversation, right? So I remember, I'm like, yeah, I don't remember these conversations with my mom. My grandmother was like, I'm having my own personal summer. And I'm
Right.
like, well, what is that?
I remember that term. I remember that
Your
term.
own person or the change. And I'm like, what is the change? So my thing is I'm on a mission just to educate, whether that's in the workplace, because a lot of workplaces, they have no empathy. They have no education about it. You don't see any flyers. You don't see any posters.
Wow.
Think about before COVID hit, you didn't see posters about COVID, but now they're everywhere.
Everywhere, right.
You know, those infographics. So I'm just like, hey, let's talk about it. Like I'm having a hot flash now. I can't tell menopause, hey, I'm going to pick you back up at 6 p.m.
Right.
And, we'll deal with this later. It's just a part of my life.
Wow, that's great. That's great that you're an advocate for that. And so you have other projects though, and I want to talk about, because I know one of the things you reached out to me was about a book. I didn't have the time to do my little section, but hopefully I'll ask again. But tell us about that, because I'm anxiously waiting for this book.
Oh my gosh. So God gave me the idea at the beginning of the year, and I was out sick, not with COVID, but I had pneumonia and bronchitis, and I was out of work over a month. That's how sick I was. But he was like, women who pray. I was like, okay, yep, I pray. I'm gonna roll back over, get this albuterol. I'm gonna go back to sleep. After I was hallucinating,
Right.
like I was like, hold on, this medication too strong. I'm throwing the pillow, like, get out of here. And I'm like, oh, this ain't working.
Nobody in there but you, huh?
Nobody. My husband was in there. He was like, you okay? I was like, no, I just saw something. So Women Who Pray, 91 women, and that's with our forward author, Dr. Kathy Amos out of Mississippi. Mm-hmm. But it's a book just full of prayers. And I do believe in this time, more people are searching, more people are hurting, more people are wanting something to be encouraged that they can just carry around with them, right? You may not know what to say or have the exact words to say, so you'll be able to pick up this book with 90 different prayers with different aspects of life.
Right.
And just read that and be encouraged. So launching next Tuesday, finally. But look, I say everything in his time and not ours.
Okay, that's great. I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
So if someone wants to reach you, learn more about Inside Out, or have you come and speak, how do they contact you?
Oh, just Carlika.com.
Okay, wow. I never thought of that. I should have had Wendy.com. No, just kidding.
Look, because sometimes you get people with all these long names, and I'm like, y'all, no one's going to remember that. Like, no one.
Right.
So, yeah, Carlika.com.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of On a Mission. To learn more about Carlika Banks-Knight Menendez and Inside Out, please go to iwantabuzz.com, and we'll see you next time on Buzz TV.
Greetings and welcome to the Jacksonville Buzz. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Exciting guest in the studio today. It is Will Dracus from Hon Sushi Catering, and we're going to find out all about him and his catering company. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
So before we get on to your catering company, Hon Sushi, let's talk a little bit about Will.
Okay, sure. I guess I've been doing sushi since 2002.
Wow.
I worked for a restaurant for 12 years. Then I decided I was going to open my own restaurant. Didn't like that. Went to Charlotte, worked at a place called Baku, trained a lot there, learned more about the traditional arts. Then I started working with the Jaguars, then the Atlanta Braves, then COVID happened. Now I have my own business.
So there we go. I mean, in a nutshell, it's been condensed
Yeah, pretty much.
into 30 seconds, because sushi. I mean, it's an unusual
it's not something
cuisine that most people would go for. What made you want to go for Japanese?
I've always been into the Asian culture, and I guess I ended up working in a Japanese steakhouse, like I was saying, and
Okay.
from there I saw sushi, and I like the challenge, I guess.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. It's a big challenge when you do sushi.
Did you
It's a lot
learn
of
to
prep.
toss all the knives and things like that?
A little bit. I wasn't too much of a fan of that.
No.
But with sushi, I really enjoyed it. It's
Yeah.
relaxing. It's a lot of detail work. It's detail oriented. It's just fun for me.
So you started your own company, Han Sushi, and what does that mean?
It means number one sushi catering. So Han's it can mean several different things in Japanese, but the way I have it set up is number one.
And what does your catering company offer?
Well, we offer a wide variety of different sushi. Basically, we customize every menu to each individual client. Of course, if they have dietary needs, we offer that as well. But a lot of the focus on my company is providing a service for people to have, where we literally just come to their house and set up, do everything in front of them. And I guess it's kind of a private chef kind of situation. But we also do big contracts like the Jaguars, and I just got back from East Lake. So, just a lot of different things we do. So,
Talking about big contracts, I believe somebody went to the Olympics in Japan.
I did. I was there for 28 days and did sushi every single day, about 1,000+ boxes a day. It was pretty intense.
And you were working for the NBC team, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. And the IBC.
And 1,000 boxes a day. I mean, how many were you on a team?
Just two of us, basically. And we had one temp employee. They would, it was just kind of a tough situation, but yeah.
Goodness me. And did you do everything from the ordering of all the food to the preparation?
Oh, yeah.
So how long were you actually there, and how many days did you cook for?
28 days and 28 days.
Oh,
Every
was that
single
it?
day.
So you arrived and it was like, right, we've got to order this food in, we've got to get this.
I ordered it months before.
Oh.
I set up, spreadsheets and all that, and ordered all my equipment and had it sit over there. I worked with their executive chef, and we lined everything up.
What an incredible experience! If you could take one thing away from there as perhaps enhancing your cuisine, what would it be?
Well, we had the high quality fish, and it was just the experience of being able to work with different Japanese products, different things that I haven't even got to experiment with yet here.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun I get to have with some of the new ingredients I worked with.
Are you able to find them here?
Oh, yeah.
That's half of them.
I actually have access to their fish market over there now through one of their wholesalers. So
how wonderful.
yeah, I worked on that while I was there. So
that was a huge plus.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So you do private catering, you do corporate events.
Yes.
And do you only bring all the stuff to the venue and then cook it there, or can you?
For now, we're working on getting the to-go side of things set up, but mostly we don't do drop-offs mostly. We just do live catering. Probably within the next, I would say by January, we'll have it all set up for drop-offs.
And is it something where if somebody said, "Oh, can you come along? I'd like some sushi for a party," that people can watch you do it?
Yeah, they watch us.
Oh, they do?
The entire time. We set up the full sushi bar.
How
everything.
fantastic. And what's your favorite sushi?
My favorite
Yes.
is nigiri. Probably toro and madai. Those
Okay,
are
now you're going to have
snapper.
to. You're going to have to. I was going to say you're going to have
Japanese
to
snappers,
explain that.
madai, and then toro is like the belly side of the tuna. Those two are probably my favorite.
Yes. Now there's a difference between sushi and sashimi. Is that right? And
Well, so
the difference
sushi
is
means wrapped in rice, so it's like a roll. And
Okay.
then nigiri is the fish over rice, and then sashimi is sliced fish by itself.
oh, that's what I like.
You like the sashimi?
Yes.
Me too. It's very delicious.
It's delicious. I mean, and the flavor comes straight through, and everyone says, "Ew, how can you do that? It's raw." And it's like, but it's so fresh and
for the
clean.
quality
And
of the product, it depends like where you're going, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't deal with anything but the best quality. So
And I mean, obviously, you said that Asian is your sort of interesting
well, I love the food.
cuisine.
I love
Is there another cuisine that you also like?
probably Korean and Vietnamese. Those are my favorites.
Okay.
Outside of sushi.
Yes. And if somebody comes to you and says, "I would like you to do all things Asian for me," can Can you do that?
We can, of course, but we don't. We try not to push too far out of the boundary for now. We'll
Just keep it
expand a
simple.
little further. I can do bao buns. We've done hibachi a few times. While I was in Eastlake, we did a raw bar, which was insane.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was beautiful and amazing. I mean, all that stuff is on my Instagram, so it's kind of like you can go look at it and see what we
Yes,
offer.
absolutely. Absolutely. And do you have 3 tools that you can't live without?
Definitely. My fish tweezers to pull all the bones out,
Whoa.
my sharpening stone, and my knives.
And that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So if people want to get hold of you, how do they find Hon Sushi?
You can go to hansushicatering.com.
As simple
That's
as
it.
that.
You just go on there. You can write me an email or call me, one of the two.
And how far out do people need to book?
I would say a month to 2 weeks right now, especially.
Okay.
And we're very busy, so
Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming in. It's an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure to meet you.
definitely.
And I look forward to tasting some of your sushi in the future.
We'll have to work that out, definitely.
Absolutely.
We'll set something up.
So if you'd like to know any more information, don't forget it's the On Sushi Catering Company. And you can also find more information on iwantabuzz.com.
Welcome back to another episode of On a Mission. I'm your host, Dr. Wendy Norfleet with Norfleet Integrated Solutions, and it is my pleasure to have with me Rob Stevens with Leadership for Now. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks, Wendy.
Okay, Rob, I know I've known you for quite a few years,
Yeah.
and actually we met through an ATD, I think one of their monthly events.
That and a chamber event
Right,
as well.
okay, that's right. We'll follow up with the chamber event.
Right,
So I also know that you own your own company, Leadership for Now.
yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Leadership for Now really started probably 30 some years ago, unofficially.
Okay.
And that's where I moved into the training space from being a subject matter expert with, at that point, Citibank, actually, and did a number of different things with Citi. I worked for a large church in the Chicago area. I ran a custom learning group for 12 years, and then moved more specifically just in kind of leadership development. And it was about 4 years ago that I started my own company, called it Leadership for Now, and have really focused on that full time since then.
Okay, that's great. So we've probably been in business. I'll have my 5th year anniversary next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been 4 years too.
Yeah.
So I know we both kind of do leadership, and a lot of people say, well, how can you be friends with other people that do leadership? And I'm like, there's enough for all of us, right?
100%.
Yes.
100%.
So tell us a little bit. You have a thing on your website
Yeah.
that people matter. I can't remember the whole slogan, but tell
Sure.
us the slogan and tell us what is the significance of it.
Sure. So it was about 8 years ago now that I was at one of those industry conferences, you know, the ones where they've got a lot of subject matter specific
Right.
stuff, but then they also managed to have a kind of an inspiring or a training or a leadership piece there. And there was a group there called Dear World. And if you've ever seen some pictures where people kind of write things on themselves and kind of inspirational, and that day they talked a lot about Hurricane Katrina and survivors of that. And since then I've seen stuff with the Boston Marathon situation, with the
A lot of
Parkland shooting.
horrible situations.
And so that day they challenged all of us to think about something that was important to us. And so people wrote about their family, some had some illness thing, other things that were important. And for me, what came to mind is the 30 plus years I've been really working with people and helping them to do whatever it is that they did better, in particular leaders and managers. And so the words that came to me were people matter, lead them well. And so that people matter, lead them well really has driven everything I've done. I know it violates some rules, but I call it my mission, vision, values. It drives kind of everything that I do today.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, every decision we make, especially if we're working with people, we should value them and want to place them in the best situation possible.
Yeah. And again, as I look at leadership, I see it's kind of a paradox. It's both, there's a simple element of it and obviously a very complex.
Right.
And the simple side of it, I think, is around you got to take care of your people. People matter.
Right.
And I think that's got to come first, honestly. And then lead them well is, I think, a lot about getting things done and solving problems and meeting opportunities. That's kind of the simple side. The more complex side of that, though, is just, well, people.
Yeah.
And just all the different challenges and the different ways that people are wired, and you start getting into.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell people.
You know.
I tell people all the time, leadership is almost like being a counselor sometimes, because you sit there, and I can remember, I had 158 people reporting to me at one of my positions. And I'm going to tell you, I had an open door policy, but some days I say, oh my gosh, I need to change this policy. But, and I love talking to people. I love working with people, but sometimes you really do, like, I didn't really need to hear that.
Right. And I think that's a critical part, that people matter, because it's the only way that you're going to really do the work as the leader, to keep your door open, to work on setting goals and expectations, to doing all the lead them well stuff.
Right. And realizing everybody's not wired the same, because I can talk to some of my staff a certain way and they get it, they run with it. But if I talk to some of them that way, I will bust into tears. So, I have to really have to word things very softly, very differently for her, to motivate her. So you really do learn a lot about motivation, getting people going, what makes people tick. It's amazing.
Even when you start talking about something theoretically simple, if you've got a simple goal to set, and here, this is what we need to accomplish, even that conversation, you've got some people that like the big hairy goals, and you got some people that like, hey, make it very real and manageable. And yet it's the same goal I might have for both people.
And some people know how to break it down to milestones. Say, okay, if I do this first, then I can do this. But some people don't. They look at the big picture and say, oh my God, it's just too much for me to deal with.
100%.
So it's really about knowing people, knowing what makes them tick. Right.
Exactly.
So Rob, if someone wants to get a hold of you, they want your services, they want, maybe even to use you as, hey, Rob, we heard about, leadership, and we want to talk about it with you. How do they contact you?
Sure. A couple different ways. My website is leadershipfornow.com, spelled out leadership, FOR now.com. That's simple. Or if you want to send me an email, it's simply rob@leadershipfornow.com.
Okay. Rob, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Wendy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of On a Mission. To learn more about Rob Stevens and Leadership for Now, please go to iwannabuzz.com, and we'll see you next time on Buzz TV.
Wow, that was fantastic. What a great show, and what interesting businesses. Don't forget, if you need any more information, you can go to iwannabuzz.com. Bye for now.